You know. That was a nice big
Video protected.
Just didn't give me grief over it. I don't know how are you meant to get out of there? What's up, drivers? In last year's mistakes video, I said this. Almost 7 years on, more often than I'd like to admit, I'm in the valley of despair. This year, by comparison, has been a great improvement, but that doesn't mean I haven't made a couple of really bad blunders. I mean, heck, I've been doing it my whole life. I'm going to give a brief mention about getting stuck in Wales this year, but the video of that clip won't release until next year, plus there's a backstory to go along with it. Unlike last year, this year I've been saving up most of my mistakes in a completely separate folder, so that this is mostly fresh content. But exactly like last year, the clips will get gradually worse, and I'm once again weighing up how much others were to blame when making the decision for where to put the clips. Here are my worst driving mistakes of 2023. I'll swing it into one of these. Swing it in. I'll park next to the one with the bins in, then no one can hit me with their door on the left hand side. Oop, but I can still hit the curb.
Good job.
Video protected.
Do you ever just get a sixth sense that someone's about to just brainlessly crash into you? I'm unsure whether she would have actually hit me, but seeing her head turn fully left as she begins to perform a bad parallel park while swinging out towards me was enough to spook me into evasive action. You're gonna hit my car. You're gonna hit my car. And yes, I did stall while doing it. You're gonna hit my car. I already explained the horrible lane discipline that I was aware of during my Magic Roundabout video, but someone in the comments noticed another mistake I made, and that was going straight on at this section. The lane I was in can apparently only turn left onto the far lanes of the next mini roundabout to my left, and only the right hand lane can enter the mini roundabout directly ahead. While that looks obvious when watching the footage back, as it's clear there's not space for two vehicles to enter this way, there's also no arrows to suggest this, and both of the right two lanes say the same thing: town centre. Thankfully there was nothing to my right, as this could have been a little hairy, and it fully explains why the van emerges.
Beep, 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 like a Nakoof does.
But I always bang on about not staying alongside other vehicles on roundabouts anyway, so I don't think I'd have had a problem. Unfortunately, my dashcam, Benji's dashcam, and Joe's dashcam failed to capture this, but Joe's caught a few brief seconds before disaster. As I reversed into this gap, I heard the most ungodly scraping noise, and suddenly got flashbacks. Sat in my car with tears forming in my eyes, Benji consoled me into looking under my car to see that I'd just given these things a bit of a tickle. Benji's dashcam did, however, capture this. Can't wait to get to my hotel room, get the shower on my ass. Oh, that noise. Oh, that noise. This clip happened on a day when a bunch of drivers had done exactly what this next driver does, except the other times this happened, I just slowed down and let them in. None of them were what I'd even consider clip-worthy. Having had enough of this by this point in the day, I decide to continue, which the Zafira driver shows his displeasure at with his horn. Nope. Nope. That's not how you leave a junction. I fully hold my hands up and accept that I should have just continued being stoic towards these lazy, selfish drivers and not made the situation worse. But if you'll allow me to pull the actually card for a moment, Rule 172 of the Highway Code states you must give way to traffic on the main road when emerging from a junction, accompanied with Rule 180, which says you will need to watch for traffic in both directions and wait for a safe gap. This driver deciding these rules don't apply to them does not give me a free pass to reprimand them in any way, shape or form. be more like the black Ford behind me. In this clip, I simply don't observe long enough or creep for a better view. I also take the turn a little too shallow, but thankfully it's sorted out by the Vauxhall driver who slows down and allows me to get further over.
Oh shit. Didn't see you there, I'm sorry.
This clip is pretty self-explanatory, although my decision to reverse was a little bit slow, only deciding to do so when the light turned amber. Thankfully nothing arrived behind me, so I was still able to reverse. The mother finds it somewhat amusing, and her child thanks me.
Oh shit.
Route recalculation. Turn left.
I don't want to block this more than I have. Fuck! Bear with me.
Where did you go?
You are welcome.
A similar but worse mistake here, I once again assume that traffic is going to continue moving for longer than it does. I make the decision to hug up to the car in front, but in my panic accidentally select reverse. The taxi is able to emerge, but because of my position, his view is now significantly restricted. Simply thinking for 2 more seconds and just reversing would have probably been the better option here, but the best option? Reacting to brake lights sooner and hanging back. Also, I have no idea what happened to my front cam footage for this, so I'm afraid this is all we have. Due to this truck being parked on white zigzags, I set my focus on slowing down to make sure there's no one waiting to cross the road to my left, completely missing the woman approaching the crossing to my right. Thankfully she hadn't set foot on the crossing yet when I proceeded, so I didn't commit any offence. I just probably looked like a bit of a dick.
I was too busy looking the other side, oh well.
In a recent 6 Minute Saturdays, I explained how Emu did exactly the same thing I'm about to do here. And funnily enough, Denial has a clip of someone doing exactly what I'm about to do at the exact same junction. The red lights to my left were completely covered by my rearview mirror, but it wasn't like there wasn't clues on the approach, which I'd obviously forgotten about. Plus the light to my right that turns green is a green arrow. I just see the light turn amber and immediately proceed, and the worst part is I only realised my error when watching the footage later due to saving the clip because of my confusion at why the lights immediately ahead seemed to turn red for no reason.
Why? What triggered that?
Thankfully the car turning from the other direction didn't begin moving until I was almost already clear of the junction. In another more recent 6 Minute Saturdays, I said this: the drivers of Hull are still allergic to using left-hand lanes, which sets the scene nicely for this next clip. I'm proceeding down the left-hand lane, doing about 25 to 30 in a 40, but I 100% admit that I should have slowed down a lot sooner for the junction, and the hazards present there, especially taking into account the rainy conditions. A car ahead in the right-hand lane gives 2 flashes of their indicator before just swinging out.
No! What the fuck was that?
As I slam on my brakes, I very quickly realised I'm heading straight for the curb, so instead of slamming against it, I decide to steer a little bit further left up the sloped cycle lane to avoid damaging my wheels. Not enough caution on my part? Absolutely. But here's Jobber's take on it.
So I was sent this video by one of my anonymous followers on TikTok. They were asking who was going to be at fault for this collision if this incident resulted in an impact. And it would indeed be the car that's changing lanes without checking it's safe and clear to do so. They could have maybe been going a little bit slower, but their reactions show that they were anticipating any danger that comes their way because they managed to avoid the collision despite the empty head, changing lanes without checking it was safe and clear to do so. As I always explain, liability rests with the act that caused the collision. The act in this case, if it had have caused a collision, would have been changing lanes without checking it was safe and clear to do so, which you should be doing regardless of what way you're turning. If you're changing lanes, there should be an over-the-shoulder blind spot check along with using your wing mirrors. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound.
Here's one from my recent trip to Wales, which will still feature in that video next year, but won't get the explanation I'm going to give it here. This junction is horrible to see out of. I creep and lean as much as I physically can, and I'm happy that it's clear to my right, but I cannot see much to the left for the life of me, and as I decide to just go for it and emerge, an Audi comes flying round the corner. Full well knowing I don't have the time to get up to speed to not cause an issue, I steer to and stop in the oncoming lane and put my hazards on to apologise. They didn't reprimand me either, which was very nice of them.
Fucking hell. That was a nice big fuck up, wasn't it?
Video protected.
Just didn't give me grief over it.
Now, some of you might be thinking the Audi was going a little too fast for such a blind corner, approaching a junction, but if we take a look at where they came from, the warning sign for the junction is practically invisible due to overgrown bushes. I don't blame them one bit for missing it, and thankfully my quick thinking here and the Audi not panicking and trying to swerve around me ultimately prevented what could have been a very nasty collision. So what could I have done differently here? The only thing I can really think of would be to turn the music off and put my windows down to let my ears assist my eyes. I could also maybe give a few sounds of my horn to alert anyone approaching round the blind bend. Now in my opinion, this clip wouldn't even break last year's top 4, which is an improvement in my eyes, although it is a very similar mistake to when I hit the cyclist.
Oh, fucking hell! Oh, fuck's sake!
There's not that much to be said about this one, other than that my observations to the right weren't thorough or often enough. Nowhere bloody near, in fact.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. For fuck's sake.
Thank you very much for watching yet another compilation purely of me humiliating myself. If you like this video, please leave it a like, hit the subscribe and bell buttons, check out my links in the description for dashcam money off, car gadgets and my merch. Have a pleasant holidays, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace!
Can't believe he like nearly fucked his car up.